just start up. I'm going to start up by just taking a look at this thing that I'm pretty happy with. So one of the things we do have, we vinyl cut this logo to put it on the exterior of the case that the minis are being shipped in. And of course, they are minis, you know, from the Multiversal Incident Neutralization Initiative. Um, and we turned this into a nice little vector. Everything came out well. Had to do some little bit of work in Inkscape, which doesn't run on Macs anymore, at least not on the newest OS revision, which is annoying. Thankfully, I have the Windows machine I broadcast from. And yeah, we are gonna. So one of the things I did want to look at today is we've got the picture of the case that Iris put together, and I'm actually thinking about doing a couple of other sort of surfaces of the case. So let's not have that be quite so full screened. Where did that go? There it is. No. Where did I opened a browser window. Oh, are you over? No, I opened a browser window and then brought it up and then I was like, don't be full screened. And then it like, I'm not full screened. I'm just gone. So, okay, fine. We'll just put that into a new window. Then we'll tell that window on my other monitor to not be full screened. And then we'll drag it up into range. Cool. All right. So here we go. Here we go. Now what I need first is, let's just take it. Twitter.com, Iris of Ether, because I want to look at what the case looks like, and I happen to know that she posted a picture of the case yesterday with the decal on it. So smooth linking for the 2021 thread. There it is. So yeah, there is what we have worked on, the Multiversal Incident Neutralization Initiative briefcase. And now I've seen that case physically. I want to bring this up. Okay. Because what I want to think about here is how we are going to, what else we want to do with this case to kind of help make it feel like it is a case of objects from a weird paragovernmental agency. And I think a couple of other small things on it might help. So Carrie has some additional vinyl that can be cut all black. That should be fine. So let's see what we can do. I think one of the things I'd kind of like to do is create something that's kind of like a serial number label that can go on one of the other surfaces. So let's just go ahead. We'll pop on over here. Different document. I'll keep this one open in the corner as kind of a touchstone for what things look like. But then over here in our one we're actually going to work in. So let's set up our canvas. We're going to use, it's not going to be infinite. I want to use let's use a flexibly sized canvas because we can then adjust it to the size whatever we've got on it. Let me take a sip. There we go. That's better. All right. So ruler units, we're going to use fractional inches so that we can kind of see real world size here. Not that it matters. These are vectors. We're going to scale them appropriately to the object, but that will, I think, help. And you know what? Actually, let's try fixed size. I want to try like a label that's 1 inch tall by like, yeah, 1 inch tall. It's like yay big by like 2 inches across. Yeah. So let's see if we can produce just a little something that is going to, would look good if punked into the corner of the box there. Now again, this has all got to be cut by the vinyl cutter. So, but it did prove really pretty good at doing fairly thin lines using the because we had some of those thin lines in the stencil font there, and that worked out pretty well. So, if we take a look at this, actually before we drop out of this, let's go into our canvas here. The major grid spacing, let's go with 1/2 inch, and minor grid steps of 4. So that'll should give us 1/8 of an inch grid steps. We'll snap to grid. We'll show the grid lines. There we go. So, and here we go. So the actual object, whatever this is, we want to kind of fit in here. So let's just start by, I'm going to throw down a square, well, rectangle. And it's not really going to be a rectangle because, of course, it's not. But we're going to say no stroke, solid black fill. And I'm going to put that just like this. There is our background. So we're going to cut this object out. And the border of this is real. And I think, given that we're going to be cutting this, and I don't really think I want those sharp corners on it, let's go ahead and squircle the corners up just a little. That looks pretty good. A little bit of rounded corner on that. And here we go. So I kind of want to lean into that acronym a bit. So let's see. One of the nice things about the letters, M-I-N-I, is none of them have any trapped shape, so I don't need to use a stencil font if I'm only using those letters. So there's another font that I was using that I really liked for some of this. So I put together also kind of a letterhead, and I used, to get that nice governmental feel, I used a font called Public Sans. And Public Sans is, well, of course, it's a sans serif font. See there, yeah. Even the font I've already got up there. It's a sans serif font, as the name implies. But the nice thing about it is it was commissioned by the US government as a free font that anyone can use because it is literally designed for use in public documents so that public documents don't have to have some copyrighted font that you need to pay somebody to have a consistent look and feel. So, okay, cool. That means we can give things a very consistently governmental looking look and feel with no need to pay anybody. Which is good, because this project has a budget of whatever we decide to spend on it. You know, we're doing this for charity, which means we spend what we spend and we're happy about it. All right, we're going to turn on wrap to shape. We're going to make this shape 2 inches by 1 inch. Great. We're going to make this thing now, we're going to use white on black because we're going to actually be cutting these letters out. And now this thing actually right now fills the space. So we want to do a couple of things. First of all, I think I want a little bit more margin than that. And then, you know what? I think this is going to go up in our first half here. Now this is a 1/2 inch tall. This is not very big. Yeah, a budget of what's in our pockets. All right. So now what we want to do here is, this is M-I-N-I. I love those square periods on this. And so we're kind of taking some inspiration for all of this from... I tried to take inspiration from government agencies. It turns out that real government agencies have incredibly fiddly and generally not very graphically designed logos. But Hollywood agencies, Hollywood loves their striking government agency look. So yeah, a lot of this is based on like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and kind of the look and feel there. So we got Public Sans. I think I want Public Sans black for that nice, oh yeah, yeah, look at that. Now, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. It's 24 point. We'll center that in the logotype. That feels like some type of an official thing. And now what we want to do is put some plausible information at the bottom. So I kind of want something that identifies what this object is. Let's go ahead and copy that. We'll paste it right down here. Use the bottom half. And for this one, we'll make the text a bit smaller. So stay in our Public Sans, but let's just go to like bold. And we're going to take the size down about halfway. Yeah. And part of the reason for bold is, of course, that all these letters have to become physical things. So we don't want anything super thin because we don't want it to disappear when we try to treat it as a physical object. Um, so this case is going to contain miniatures, also cards and a little bit of other stuff. So let's see. And sort of narratively, the idea is that whoever gets this is being recruited into this secretive agency. So maybe this is recruit onboarding case. Okay, so we do have some trap, a lot of trap shapes there. So let's all fonts. So the font we've been using elsewhere, the font we used for the other thing was Stardos Stencil, which let's see how that looks. Oh, excuse me. I need all of you to change to Stardust Stencil. Stardo Stencil. Recruit onboarding case, maybe agent onboarding case. Onboarding is such a core. Like, what is a better word for that thing where you bring somebody on into an organization?
Initiation.
Oh yeah, yeah. Agent initiation case. And like any good object, it should have a serial number. And I can't believe it's 2021. Let's see. Agent initiation case 2021 dash DB. Now for this, I'm going to do a couple things here. The first one is I want to take just this part of the text and pin it to the right edge. Let's see. What I think I want to do is actually, I'm going to take this. I'm going to duplicate this object. Excuse me, not that. I'm going to take the entire object, the whole text object. We're going to duplicate that. There we go. And we're going to separate them. So 2021 dB is going to be in only one copy of them, just like that. And we're going to take this one and we're going to lay it out so it's only in that middle third. That's why we dropped this grid on that we can work with. And then for this one, we're going to again take that 2021 dB, do this, grab this, bring it up into position, lay this out like that. And now I can manipulate this a little bit better. So, right, what I think I want to do is actually pull this in to approximately the edge of where the E in case is. And I'm going to do that through a combination of pulling in the edges and then just gently nudging my borders because margins are easy to play with. And that looks pretty good. Now I feel like that 2021 dB wants to actually be a little bit smaller because again, the fact that it's capital means that we are, what does non-bold look like there? No, I think maintaining bold there is good. What happens if we unbold this one? Bolded, regular. That's pretty good actually, because I think then what I can do is take up the size but keep the weight lower, which opens up the space a bit. Yeah. And now this can be a bit smaller. What I'm trying to maintain is kind of the weight of the lines. So this is bold, but a smaller size, and it has a similar line weight to the regular at the larger size. And that helps keep everything kind of feeling uniform, he says, as if he knows what he's doing. And now we can basically lower the margin on this again, because now we just kind of want to take that right up to the edge. All right, and I think the next step on this one is to find out what the rest of the team thinks. Now, one other thing I might want to do with something like this is some of these numbers, like, does that one really need that slashing through it? I don't know. But it doesn't, I don't think it hurts. Yeah, looking at what we've got here. So this object, this is actually a little bit larger than actual size, I think. So let me check something here. I've got myself, I got myself some index cards right here. Let me grab one of them. And they have a grid on them, and I want to check if I know what size that grid is. Do I have a measuring tape of any sort in here or anything else that I can confidently state the size of? Do you say what your grid size is? Of course you don't. That would be too helpful. Something that I have a consistent measurement of. This is the problem. I need something I can hold up to my screen and consistently know that what I'm looking at is pretty close to the correct number of inches.